Hi guys.
Hello everyone. So today we're joining again in our monthly session of Café de Ciencia. And my name is Oksana. I am an external collaborator of the Laboratorio Social COETPA de INDES, de la Universidad de Cádiz. And today we have a special guest all the way from Russia. Maria Yamkovaya, who is currently pursuing her PhD in marine and coastal management. And today we're going to touch quite an interesting and sensitive topic about coastal tourism and climate change. So my first question for Maria would be why this topic is important nowadays, and how the things are with coastal tourism in Spain, and what can you tell us about the relation to the climate change?
Okay, thank you for introducing me, Oksana. My topic of my thesis is about coastal tourism of Spain, and I hope I know something about it. So why tourism is so important? Tourism generally and coastal tourism specifically plays crucial role for economy of Spain because it represents almost 12% of gross domestic products per year. And also it represents 15% of national employment in Spain. Also, Spain takes a leading position in Western and Southern Europe among leaders in tourism. The majority of tourists who are coming to have a rest, they spend their vacations in the coastal areas. It means that coastal tourism is mostly popular among all touristic activities in Spain. And also, it's interesting that not just interesting, but the whole territory of Spain is surrounded by the Mediterranean Sea and the Atlantic Ocean. So in the coastal municipalities in the islands, coastal tourism is the main economic driver. So it's this is benefits of coastal tourism for Spain, and that's why it's important to speak about it. But besides all the benefits which we have listed, it's also creates quite significant anthropogenic pressure on the coastal areas. Meanwhile, the coastal areas of Spain experience right now very strong erosion problems, besides another ecological problems. And because Spanish territories are not territories, coastal areas, they are very productive, they are rich, and that's why in this area live the biggest part of Spanish population. Also, there are many business activities, and among these activities, of course, tourism and recreation. And coastal tourism, it's a naturally based activity where it's really important to maintain good ecological conditions. And meanwhile, there are a lot of problems and besides the climate change impact, because climate change, what is the jeopardies, consequences of climate change impact for coastal tourism and coastal areas? It's as we all know, it's sea level rise, it's temperature rise, it's retreatment of the beaches, destruction of the coastal infrastructure, losing biodiversity, etc.
So, speaking about possible impacts of climate change that can affect coastal area, you mentioned sea level rise, loss of biodiversity. Yeah. What about coastal erosion?
It's like consequence. The climate change. It's one of the consequence of of the impact because of this all the processes. In the end, it's like erosion of the beaches, of their destruction, and of course it's vital to maintain and protect the coastal areas and mitigate the impact of climate change.
I know that you're doing research in this relation. And your study area is the south of Spain, Cadiz
Yes,
municipality.
exactly.
So I'm just curious. Can you tell us a little bit more? What kind of impacts from climate change is this particular area of Cadiz is suffering?
Yeah.
What impacts can we see ourselves around here?
Yes, my study area is the province of Cadiz and the coast of Cadiz. And for example, the Bahia of Cadiz, it's low-lying areas which are very vulnerable to the climate change impact because because, for example, the nourishment sandy processes is going on in La Victoria beach every year, and in Santa Maria Beach and Fuentepravia Beach municipality, El Puerto Santa Maria, because of erosion, because of sea level rise. There are many forecasts which predict in the next 50 years that many low-lying areas like Bahia de Cádiz will be inundated because they are low-lying relatively to the sea level.
So now that we cover a little bit the part of the coastal impacts, and I understand that the main impacts that we have here is sea level rise.
Erosion.
Erosion.
First of all, it's now erosion.
Erosion, okay.
And retreatment of the beaches.
So we clearly have a problem here. What about solutions? Is there anything that the local government Ayuntamiento is doing something to solve this problem?
Yeah, and also I want to mention some. I have read some forecasts that beside they solve these erosion problems and the inundation of low-lying areas, and also it will obviously destroy the touristic activities in this area. And also there is prediction that about temperature rise. It means that from the south, now the touristic inbound mainly is concentrated in the south during summer times, and it will be changed. It will change the direction to the north. It means that the majority of tourists will come during summertime to the northern provinces of Spain, and now it's like in contrary.
So me, as being a tourist who actually particularly likes warm water, the increase of water temperature is a good thing, but I guess then for the ecosystem is a bad thing.
Of course, it's also we will lose biodiversity because not all species would be able to adapt to these new circumstances. And it's not we just not speaking about enjoyable water for tourists. We speak about extremely hot air temperature, which will be difficult to enjoy. You know, that's why people will be will redirect their beach destinations to the north, which sounds really scary
but that's a matter of future time, or do you have any prediction within what?
Like 50 years, it's not so further. It's like
so within 50 years,
yes,
we are going to be beaching at in Galicia. Let's say.
Yeah, according to the forecast, it's like this. Okay. But right now, what I saw during my investigation in the beaches, that I saw renourishment works, and I have read about renourishment in the La Victoria. It's really costly organization. It's like millions of euro just to support this beach, to keep people to come in to enjoy these views and to enjoy the water and the beach. Otherwise, it will be quite destroyed right now.
Okay. I also know that a couple of years ago you did an extensive field trip research where you
exhausted. I was
covered the whole area of Cadiz. And what was that field trip about, and what were you trying to find out? Could you tell us a bit about that part of your touristic survey?
Yes, because of importance of coastal tourism for Spain, and because of these jeopardies, consequences of climate change impact, we need a solution how to maintain ecological condition, how to maintain coastal tourism, and to save our costs in Spain. And the only one solution how state international community of scientists, it's sustainable development. And sustainable development, it means that we need to implement governmental organizations, they need to implement environmental policy. And it means that we need to use very carefully our resources, energetic water resources. We need to replace using not renewable energetic resources for renewable, like solar energy, wind energy. We need to recycle. We need to adapt new technologies to save sources, and the main also.
No, you can go on.
Okay. And the main idea of sustainable development of coastal tourism is decreasing of CO2 emissions, because the main services of tourism, like transportation and hospitality services, it's accommodation services, hotels, touristic apartments, restaurant, and food services establishments like restaurants, cafeterias. They need to adapt new technologies, because transportations, for example, creates 75% of CO2 emissions per year. It's and the main resource of these issues, it's emissions. Emissions. It's air transport, which is followed by road and another transport. It means that also we need new type of airplanes. We need to use electronic cars, and people who are coming to spend their vacations here in Spain or in other countries, it's important to use or public transport or electronic cars, for example. And also that like hotels and restaurants activities, they produce like 20% of emissions of carbon dioxide per year. It's also can be reduced by adapting green practices and other activities. So it's a long time and time-consuming process which we have to complete to reach more or less sustainable development and to reduce CO2 emissions. And what I did, I asked people, beachgoers and restaurant directors and hotel directors, if they are familiar with the concept of sustainable development, if they are familiar with climate change impact, which actions they complete to reach sustainability, if they adopt some green practices in their establishments, if they recycle, if they save water, energy, if they use renewable energy. So it's
were the results shocking?
Yes, unfortunately, results wasn't so good. For example, the directors of restaurants, they are familiar by the words, but they almost haven't adapted or poorly adapted any green practices, for example, and also they recycle. Some of them not recycle, but for example, hotels in Chiclana de la Frontera, Yeah, there are like 4 stars, 5 stars hotels, and they have. It was really good news because they have their own environmental programs. They have like some of the hotels they don't use at all plastic, and they are like they are located almost on the beach. So it was good to listen that they don't use any plastic, and they replaced plastic glasses for bottle of glasses. So it's good because I will tell later why, but and we all know why, because people going to the beach and they're leaving or forgetting or just throw away plastic rubbish, which is going with wind during the night to the ocean. And because the services, cleaning services in Spain, they are working in the morning time. So it means that we need to control this situation because or they need to clean it twice per day or control people who beach goers, because unfortunately all the beaches they're full of rubbish. It was especially urban beaches.
We've got an interesting question from Julia. So coastal tourism is very closely related to marine spatial planning.
Yeah.
What would you comment on that? What is the position of coastal tourism in the marine spatial planning concept?
Well, I think in Spain it's planned quite good, because it's like the last 60 years it started to be it's developing, and it's well, there are some ports
Especially, I
close.
understand that's the area where we're talking about possible conflicts.
It can be.
Competitive activities, right?
Well,
so coastal tourism will compete with fisher, let's say, aquaculture, with
definitely in
maritime
Spain, definitely.
activities. So what is the situation
Well,
about it in Spain?
I'm not so familiar with marine special in the position of coastal tourism, but I guess it could be some conflicts because, for example, if we take the example of El Puerto Santa Maria, and there you will find natural protected park, and there are a lot of tourists next its urban beach, and some other semi-urban or urban beaches, and next it's like military seaport. Obviously you can swim and you can see military boats are coming or going out from the bay. It's like, I don't know, like a tourist, it's like make you impression like you're not swimming in so clear water. Like personally, I got this feeling when I was there, but I don't know how the governmental institution control this situation or resolve conflicts between like military base and recreation. I don't know. Maybe they just live like I don't know, in distance, and each one organization make its work. I cannot clearly. I'm not an expert in special planning. I cannot tell you exactly.
Okay. We've got another question. If you ever try to categorize tourists, as they are important stakeholders
Of course.
of the industry.
Yes, it's like I categorized in my investigation the main services provider, like transportation. In the hospitality sector, it's hot accommodations facilities. It includes like hotels, hostels, touristic apartments, and another pillar it's food services. It's restaurants, bars, taverns. There are like plenty. Chiringuitos, of course.
How can I forget chiringuitos?
There are plenty of them, and another part we have chosen. It's like it's it's who is the main users of these facilities and beaches and restaurants and hotels. It's tourists, of course, tourists and local citizens. That's why we consider them separately, and we categorize tourists like for locals. And local tourists we considered who, for example, I made questionnaires in the beaches, and I asked them if they were from Cadiz province. If they were from Cadiz province, it was local, like local tourists, and tourists, national tourists, and outside. It's like we had local, national, and tourists abroad, international one. So we categorize them like this. And what I understand from my investigation, that not everyone is familiar with sustainable development, with sustainable behavior, because it's extremely important to teach this all people how to behave properly, ecologically, environmentally friendly during vacation and also in everyday life. For example, if you come here by plane, you can choose like public transport, not to rent a car. It will be more sustainably friendly because many people will use one bus or train. And then probably you can go by bike every day, not to buy a taxi, or I don't like to be more to think a bit more. And also I would definitely forbid for beachgoers to bring plastic with them to the beach.
That is a quite interesting question. So based on your own perception from your field trip
Yeah.
survey, did you find that the tourists were particularly, they would express like interest in using eco-friendly products and choosing a green hotel over a normal standard hotel? Do you feel that there is a interest of tourists for green related services?
Definitely, and it was one of the main question in my questionnaire. So there was like three types of tourists. One of them were like eco proactive. They were like choosing eco food, eco hotels, eco transport, everything eco, including they were renting out to the beach and picking up the rubbish after
How
another
many of them?
tourist.
Can we now speak the numbers?
Well, I saw like not often this picture, but it was particularly German people or English people,
Okay.
and Spanish people also, who were going out and picking up the rubbish in the at night time.
Do you have a concrete number?
No. It wasn't the point to choose it. It related to the question, and also the second part of this of the beachgoers. It's like they're familiar with something, they're doing something, and they think something, but my question was which type of transport do you use to come to the beach, and they for example answered, I use my car, my own car. It means for me that they're familiar, but for them it's important more comfort, to feel comfortable than environment. So it's like some of the questions showed me that they are or don't, or they have absent of some knowledge, or they are not really familiar with this. And the third category of tourists, beachgoers, it was like I don't know, I'm not interested, and I simply don't care. So it was like this. So but what my idea was also, in not just my idea, what I have read in articles, that we need to improve environmental knowledge of tourists and local citizens, because we need to make some short maybe films about environment, about dangerous consequences of their behavior if they leave plastic in the beaches, which type of transport they not have but need to use, and maybe which type of food is more environmentally friendly to buy, not in plastic, etc., etc. It's like we need to educate more tourists and local citizens, and at school and also adults. It's like different categories of people which need maybe different different methodology to teach.
It does sound like a very difficult task um, to change the situation, because for that we will need to change philosophy of people, and that
Exactly.
would start with education from the very beginning. That starts with school, because simply we have so many YouTube videos available out there, but people simply don't really care much, or they watch them but they don't really do what they
or they say that yes, I'm doing this, but the statistic analysis of another scientist shows that they're lying.
So your research has been going to the end, and now you are in the process of finishing your thesis. Is that right? You're going to defend?
Yeah, I hope so. I will defend. And now also about changing the philosophy. What I wanted to add some, that we need to like, exactly, we need to change the philosophy of life. We need to change the philosophy of restaurant holders, of the hotels, because we need to teach them or obligate them or support them or everything, all these actions together, because also what I think we need to create like one uniform management model, and some green practices which has to be adapted and obligatory. And I think it will really help us to reach our target to reduce CO2. Otherwise, it will be going like very chaotic, and still it's not clear how it's going, and people don't know. One knows, another knows. So it's like we are kind of in very beginning to have like real results.
Okay, so a clear management system was all the criteria clearly established, defined, and most importantly, obligatory.
Integrated between governmental institutions, scientists, and also users and services providers. It has to be like a very clever system, which will allow all of us like very easily to use it and to reach our goal to live environmentally friendly.
So we've got a response to your response.
Okay.
It is true that tourists, they don't normally want to be educated when they are on vacation. They don't want to be bothered about all this information, how they should behave at the beach. That is what we have right now. So do you think there are any solutions that could help, well, to at least to make them listen, to make them
yeah, I can say you that from my personal experience, that majority of beachgoers were very friendly with me, and the majority of them were Spanish people, because like I saw that they were tired, they were coming to have a rest, but they were quite interested. I think that majority of people, they are quite interested, and they really they care about environmental problems, and they're interesting. I'm so sorry for this.
Guys, do you have anything else to say, to ask, or to comment? I think so. 5 minutes more. Okay, thanks for the reminder.
If you have any questions more, we can really answer.
It's been a long day, end of the day.
And we're very sorry for this joke. It was like, and this laughing. I think it's because we were not.
Okay, guess then with this we can close the session. Thanks everyone for joining us.
Thank you very much. Thank you.